Oh.
Say hello to my viewers.
You need to why.
And they say I become Bema when I'm born on my urinum. And one of my chippy ink, I cry beside say, George, and I didn't take one and memo broom, my son. Welcome today to the narrator show with the Cyber Hazel. Yeah, I'm with the family friend. George is like a forever family friend. We are going somewhere. And the narrator show time, you know, it's caught up with us on the road. We're gonna you are driving an hour, right? Yeah, so you're driving an hour, so definitely we will be able to get down with it. Well, 35-40 minutes with the narrator show. Yes. And so you're gonna be with us in the next 40 minutes. Yeah. Today we're going to talk about why men beat their wives, or even in relationships. Yeah, you know, George, can you imagine? So be on one you relationship get cool. As I know, bono. There's a medium crime in tears like, okay, uncle offense, uncle, papa, and why do as want to be bono. And then these women, a bear man in your one and or bono, and go to me again in 10 months. I was our anymore. Oh, but now I'm not our anymore. And this man will never stop beating you up. And I know if you say, so I know and baby breakers and say, you are in a vagina. No, he's not gonna stop. Because no say, no plan how much more say, one want to vagina? Don't tell you. A rebels, next, that's another be like. Me cry me person me like obekasame boom. That emotional and verbal abuse, you know, that one is even more painful than beating up the person. Well, I beg to differ. Many people have their own opinions, but me when you I say we are my identity will count. That is different, right? We all stand to be corrected in things that we do, but if I so bad cancel, I can say maybe correct too. I don't like that. Just say mommy, now we no one year me per se, which will say send your can on no one can year now, and it makes more sense when you say like that. But don't stand in front of me and say maybe correct too. But only correct, I want only examiner. I'm about correct me, you'll be back. Want to me sorry, but I'm correct me. In person correction, I never see. So we can say maybe correct. We correct me say. Cause so mommy ne okan you know. Anko ye. Say cause o kan say and now can say. Nke be ye ana say na office ka say no one can say ye. Aha, o ka say na it makes the person nice like come na new. Now I say maybe be correct. So I don't like that. And I will not imagine to now win the correction see. How dare you? Don't say that to me. I'm not your kid. I am not your kid. So today we are going to treat the men beating their wives because of Osinachi. Eku women.
In a quarter mile, turn left onto the Baltimore-Washington Parkway ramp to Baltimore-Washington International Airport.
Like you. Okay. Yeah, because of the.
Turn left onto the Baltimore-Washington Parkway ramp, then merge onto Baltimore-Washington Parkway.
You want to live in God, oh, it's ain't no one like you. So we've heard the story about Osinachi, and then unfortunately, the husband is not even handsome guy. Why don't you rather pick a handsome guy for being to beat you? It makes sense, right? If a handsome guy is beating you, it makes sense. But if an ugly guy is beating you, later, no, you know. Because crown when you say, now start the booming. I don't know, sir. You see, I think that it just is, as a gospel musician, I'm going to go from that angle or that perspective. We don't want people to know that we are going through terror in our marriages because we don't want to have that tag as a gospel musician that has divorced the husband. or the husband divorce her. I don't know whether they feel like it is going to take away their voices. I don't know whether they feel like it is going to make them less ministers, or I don't know whether God is going to take their gift from them when they divorce. Now, God didn't say anything like that. Matter of fact, there is no even heaven. In heaven, there is no marriage. There is no marriage in heaven. So, if you think it is marriage which is going to make you become a better gospel musician or a gospel act or a spiritual being because you sing the gospel of God, so you stay in that marriage and your spouse beats you. It's not even about the beating alone. It's about the verbal abuse. Like people really, people really feel like I can talk to you anyhow because you are my wife. I won't mention the specific tribe,
to stay on
but I know
Washington
of a tribe in Ghana. What the men they are found of saying, "Oba matemi se kaware wo," like, and they say it and they say war, meaning they make it even more annoying.
Baltimore, Washington
Oba matemi se kaware wo. It's like as if you were some
Continue for
object,
20 miles.
or you are a parcel in the store that he actually picked money and bought. Because this whole thing started from when women were used to represent flower. Somebody comes to your father's house and say, "I have seen a flower, I'm coming to plug." So in the first place, they have turned the whole human being into flower. Now that flower so it's a machine. Flower too, so they want to swim. So if you don't water flower, it dwindles, it wrinkles, it's kind of it dies out. So we should even go back and make that correction, whereby they represent a bride with a flower. We are not flowers. Said that I have seen a beautiful golden girl in your home that I want to come and take as wife, so that she will be my help. Women have made it a point to do anything for men to marry them. Why? Because they feel like Isaiah says that the time will come that there will be one woman to several women to one man, because the men are fewer than the women. So the women will even beg the men to, "Oh please, I have everything, just put your name on me." Well, that thing does not happen in my dictionary. For me, my Miss Abahis, it doesn't happen in my dictionary. And I know there are a lot of men, women, that it doesn't happen. That thing doesn't happen in the dictionary as well. That I should. So that is what makes a lot of women to buy their own clothing, or better than Tuma. No, I'm not so proud or not suitcase. No, what is to money go? She's going to buy the suitcase, she's going to buy her own clothing and jewelry and everything, and she's going to put all those things inside and give to the men. So at the end of the day, and then the foolishness of this thing is, she would even buy the things and put in the men's house. It's George, when we say maybe brain, and then need to meet Tom and never know about that, no, not the quarter about. So they will take the things that you have bought. Sometimes they buy it together. They buy the things together. Sometimes the woman alone buy the items. The man will pick it up and go to marry another woman. So because you want to help the man, you don't help a man to marry you. I heard this great gospel musician that I love so much. I love her so much. She's not like the rest. She's very decent and she's all that. Forgive me if I use the bad word, but she's kind of real minister of God. And then she went for a function and she was saying, if the man doesn't have money and you have some money sitting down there, give it to the man to go and marry you. Please, sisters, don't do that. Don't do that. I know that she's a very Aubrey, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter Day Saints. Thank you for coming. Please share the video onto your platform. I am so honored to have you. So do not help a man to marry you. When the man is ready and he has respect for you as a woman, he would put himself, even if he is not able to marry you, how can he cater for you? How can he take care of you? You understand? So it seems like when you do everything to put resources together, and then I have Dania, thank you so much for coming, Jeffrey. You put resources together to help this man to marry you. The man feels like, I did not even ask her. I did not even, I actually was not ready. She pushed me into the marriage. That is the number one source of men beating up their women and maltreating them, because it's like the man was not even ready. I said, you have pushed him into a marriage then he was not ready. So when the man himself is ready and walk up to you and gather his own money, that also makes him a responsible man, because you put all resources together to marry this man. How can you ask the man to give you money? How would you know whether the man is a responsible man who will be able to say, this is for the upkeep of the house and this is the money for the monthly upkeep of the house? You cannot ask the man, because to begin with, you put resources together to marry this man for you. The man was not ready. So any little thing is going to say, I wasn't even ready. You pushed yourself on me. You gathered things to marry me. So the verbal abuse begins. And once the verbal abuse continues, then the physical abuse comes in. Women, if you are in a relationship where the man physically abuses you, so what are you doing? You think the man is your father? That a woman who has not been beaten for over 20 years in her life, the last time she received beating was when she was a teenager in her father's home. She has not been beaten for 20 years. And you married this, it's not even funny. You married this woman and you beat her up. You beat a grown woman up because you were the husband. How dare you? How dare you? You beat up a woman whose father has not beaten her up in 20 years. And she becomes a wife to you and you beat her up. I think we should give men this kind of education, because unless they get to the bottom of this and accept this kind of doctrine, some of these men will forever beat up their women. You know the education I'm going to give the men today? The education is that men, love your wives and women should submit. The submission came after the love your wife. So you know what happens? It is the love in the house which is going to give that automation to the woman to submit. Submission comes automatically if a man loves the woman. God, in his infinite mercies and wisdom, he said, men, love your wife. So when you love your wife, the woman is automatically going to submit. If the woman submits for you, there will be peace in the house. There will be no need for all these exchanges and all that. There will be no need for verbal abuse. There will be no need for physical abuse. There will be no need for emotional abuse. Like I always say that people emotionally abuse others. It's even more painful than the person to hit you with a hand. Because there is nothing to show for emotional abuse. There are no scratches or marks on your skin to show for it. Something you can look at and as you say, this is the result of the abuse I received. For emotional abuse, you got nothing to show for it. All you got is invisible pain. Pains that are invisible. Pains that are psychological based. Pains that you cannot categorize into any form. It is the pain that torture. So I ask, men, why do you beat up your women, your wives? Osinachi is dead because that man of God called the pastor of Osinachi and Mwachuku That man came out with a wife saying he was never aware that Osinachi was going through all this abuse in her marriage. That man of God is a liar. He is a liar. He should go ahead and take the lie detector test because he is a liar. And in the kingdom of God, liars do not go. So that man is already in hell. Easy saying, George. That man of God, go and tell them that the narrator show says he won't go to heaven. He won't make it to heaven. Because Satan is the master of all liars. And he is a liar. Because Osinachi had complained to this man 100 times. But you see what happens with this man of God. When they heard these popular musicians in their churches, they want everything to seem perfect. There are imperfections which are attached to human beings. Humans, we are not perfect. So if something goes imperfect in our lives, we have to talk about it and straighten these things up. We straighten these things up. You cannot pretend that Osinachi's husband is a perfect man. So when Osinachi finally gets a divorce, it is going to taint an image and it's going to destroy your church. Osinachi is not your church. She was not your church. She was an entity for God, a powerful worshiper, a powerful ministry, a minister. This lady, I'm a musician, I sing, I write. So when somebody sings, I know. That lady can just combine 3. George, obey me combine 4 words. Not what two man is so powerful and you cry. And it doesn't really normally even happen. She just sings like 30 seconds and you feel the impartation. That was how strong administration was. So I say that women, they are men's hope. Men, I'm coming back to you. Please come. Until you get this doctrine situated in the back of your brain that women are your hope, that when you marry a woman, it is not the woman who benefits from the marriage. Because many of the times people have said, for a woman to be respected, she has to get married. The glory of a woman is marriage. The glory of a woman is not marriage. The glory of a woman is Christ. So unless you men come to understand that these women you marry, they are your hope. God says that it is not good for the man to be alone. I will make him an helper. So and then it says that when you find a wife, you find a good thing and you obtain favor from the eyes of the Lord. It means that a man might have a lot of money. You might have businesses going on. Just let me take it from the back and let me push it to the front. You see this man who is so rich, is single. He has everything in his home. But then it's not complete. As soon as that man gets married, the way he dresses changes. The way it does everything about him. Meanwhile, the man had money before he got married. It's not like he got married and through the marriage he became rich. Or no, he had everything. But then you go to his home, the arrangement of the home is off. The way he dressed is off. As soon as this man gets married, everything changes about him for the better. That is how powerful women are. And so these men should have the understanding that it is the women they marry which give them the power for God to give them the favor. When you marry, the favor God gives you is what makes you look good. Everything changes about you. So men should understand that it is the favor of God that comes upon them, and that favor of God that comes upon them, it is because they found a wife. Unless men understand this. Florence Opoko, thanks for coming. Claudia, thanks for coming. Thanks for joining us. Unless men get to understand this, they would always feel women are just behind. They are nothing. They don't have use for them. But they get to understand the fact that it is these women who make them obtain favor from the Lord. So who actually, man and woman, who benefit their coin from?
And I have that potential.
Okay, so it's kind of half the way.
More like.
Yeah. So unless these men get to understand that it is these women who give them the authority to have the favor from God, they will always beat them up and mistreat them. But once you understand that when the woman is not with you, you have no favor from God. Because the word of God says, when you find a woman, you find a good thing and you obtain the favor, it is after you found a wife, that is when you obtain a favor from God. So you, a man, and the woman who is benefiting from the marriage, it is the man who is benefiting, because it is the man who finds favor from God and not the woman. Unfortunately, the woman becomes an helper. She still becomes after helping you to obtain favor, she still becomes a help in the house. Meaning that you cannot, the word of God says that a man cannot live alone. It is not good for a man to live alone. How I will therefore make him a helper who is deserving of him. So after you found a woman and the woman make you obtain favor from the Lord, after you obtaining favor for your businesses and for your life to turn better, the woman still becomes the help. Cleanse, cooks, arrange, help you with their bills. And at times I don't understand. These Ghanaian men especially who want the women to put the food on the table and put water on the table for them to wash their hands, and after they've eaten you bring the water for them to wash their hands and you give them napkins and then you fan them. Are you mad? Are you mad? Because it's like they wanna, especially lots of them abroad, they wanna bring the old cocoa farm marriage type of marriage to the United States or to UK or to Europe or to Germany or anywhere. However, you are not just letting the woman sit at home and take care of all the chores in the house. It's double shifts. The chores in the house, it's 8 hours double. They don't even feel like it is anything. And then the woman also still go to work. And when she comes, you still ask the woman to pay part of the bills. And then when the woman pays part of the bills, you still want to become like the David and Goliath. You want to become giants in the house. So why don't you let the woman stop working, stay at home and take care of the home? Yes, you are the man, champion. Do that. But then today, hey, I'm missing 2,000. Oh, just please, won't you give me $1,000 so he will not pay. By the time you realize your husband is owing you 10,000, he hasn't paid. So upon everything, if this man still beats you up, come on. Essie Jenny, thank you for coming. Or say behind every successful man is a woman. This is Essie Jenny. No, this is Essie Jenny. Beside. All around the world, women are longing to be free, no longer in the shadow, to stay behind, but side and side. Nowadays, we are not staying behind, Stacy. We are beside them. Because there are a lot of men without women, their lives are shattered. There are a lot of men, they don't even know how to go about their normal lives, except a woman is with them. They don't even know what to do. And that is when God's definition of a woman is your help, it comes to play. You cannot do anything without a woman. Look at the men who are not married and compare them to the men who are married. Don't you see the difference? Or even look at a woman, a man who is in a stable relationship with a lady for maybe 3, 4, 5 years that they are preparing to get married. And look at the men who sleep with everything in skirts. Look at the two of them. Look at their lives. A woman is an ingredient. That ingredient in the recipe. The woman is the best part of you. He is your help. He advocates for favor on your behalf. Without the woman, God has not even recognized you, let alone give you a favor. So all those women who feel like the men are doing them favor by marrying them, are you mad? Sister.
In a quarter mile, continue onto Russell Street.
Sister, are you mad? You think you are begging the men, oh, the men are worrying me, the men are worrying me. Are you mad? Let the man crawl on the floor to marry you. Because first, he obtains favor as soon as he marries you. Second, you become his help. His help in the sense that the man can do nothing without your help. If the man is complete, the man already is not complete because one of his ribs is missing. Without a woman, the man is walking around the world with a hole in his side. He's not complete, unless he gets a woman. That is when it becomes complete. So if women would understand their value and say that without me, a man is not completed, then it's going to help women. And you are asking the woman, are you mad? Are you mad? Why are you begging a man to marry you? Are you mad? That is what
for 1 mile.
That is what begins. And then why are you going?
Okay.
Okay. That is what what's that?
At least every round 3 minutes.
Okay. What more today and walk around? Let's see how we do.
But in Muhano, traffic.
Now, MNT for bank stadium, the one of the other saying there was no distance to say. Even though a lag on the ground to say I didn't. Yes, FedEx now also. So if you are telling this man to marry you, that gives him the umbrella to say I wasn't ready. And as soon as I wasn't ready, set in, verbal abuse set in. Once verbal abuse begins, physical abuse set in. Once physical abuse begins, the most dangerous of all the abuses, emotional abuse. As for emotional abuse, I don't even want to talk about it. That is psychological. So you know what I mean? Do not beg this man. Anthony Mensah, thank you. Ohima, thank you. Do not beg men to marry you, number one, so that they don't feel like you push them into it. Once they have the feeling you push them into it, they treat you anyhow. But once they suffer to get your consent to settle down with them, then they value you. Because like I said it already, and I'm going to say it before I end this show. It is the man who benefits from Oloman Didi Bois Ifra. Thank you. It is the man who benefits from marriage and not the women. The women is the help. When we say somebody is an help, it's like sometimes the person is even a cleaner. Hey, we are cleaners now. We clean after their messes. We clean after their mess, number one. And also help them physically and spiritually. That is not alone. The woman gives the man the chance for God to give him, the man, favor. So without the wife, a man, that's why I was saying, compare a married man to his friends who are not married. Their lifestyles
in
are
1,000
different.
feet, turn right onto West Pratt Street.
Their lifestyles, they are different. Louisa Mensah, thank you for joining. So please don't give the man any opportunity to beat you up. No. I mean, that is the last thing you should do. So allow a man to beat you up. If you're in a relationship and don't worry about the children. I think Osinachi also thought I have 4 children. So somebody gets married in 2016 and it's 2022 and she already has 4 children. What's a poultry farm or something? 4 children in 6 years. How? That is even abuse in itself. That is childbearing abuse. But the abuse by Kwakam. me define abuse back. And it doesn't even make sense. How can you have 4 children in 6 years?
Take the next right onto West Pratt Street.
So look at how much this woman is having suffered breastfeeding and nursing. And then after everything, God opens way for her. And you are the one who has become the manager. You are now going to shows with her. When people are booking her, you are rude to them. Sometimes you raise the amount so that people don't even book her because you want her to be nobody so that you can control her. The woman married a man who was jealous of her. Never marry a man who is jealous of you. If you marry a man who is jealous of your achievement, you will suffer in the marriage. And then the woman goes, and then the one that they give the money to her by hand, you take the money from her and give her a peanut. Are you a gospel musician? Do you have voice? Do you write music? Is the ministry for you? Why would you take somebody's money and give her peanuts? And you beat this woman in presence of her children. How dare you? I hope the Nigerian government will just not leave this.
Continue on West Pratt Street for 1 mile.
Because this man has to rot in jail. Abena Nyako, thank you for joining. Frimpong Yaw
We
says
found a faster route via West Pratt Street, which saves 4 minutes. If you prefer to stay on the current route, tap no thanks.
Frimpong Yaw says it's said to lay your hands on someone you are in relationship with. Most ladies, that is women, are it's a long one, so I'm going to read. All the cause of abusive relationships, that is domestic violence. Note that men hates comparisons, disrespects, ungratefulness, indiscipline, and mostly being looked down, which causes them pain emotionally and mentally. Fellow men, if you see such red flags in your lady or wife, it's best you leave them than to abuse her. Don't just look at the investment you have made in her. Just live to live happily than to be pointed as a demon. Most women are the cause of domestic violence, but at the end of it all, you will be pointed as a demon because you couldn't control your anger to resist such abusive occurrences. Fellow men, leave relationship if you are not appreciated or no needed. Just leave to live happily. Samuel Frimpong, C-Stream. Okay, so some of the women should respond to what Nanaya has said. George, what do you think? He says the men beat up the women because the women disrespect them and they don't appreciate them. So if your wife doesn't appreciate you, and if your wife doesn't compare you with another man, you have the right to beat her up, right?
No.
So what do you say?
Oh. I mean, beating your wife is a no-no. Yeah, so.
Yeah, Nanaya says the women are comparing the men with other men and they are not appreciative of them. And so they are the cause of the abuse they receive. So they receive the beatings because these men, they feel unappreciated. The women are comparing them with other men. The women don't even thank them for the good things they do, so that they are the cause of the beatings they receive. What do you say?
Well, yeah, you can be offended at your wife's behavior, but beating them is a no-no. Yeah, I cannot. I don't deny the fact that yes, some of these things do happen in marriages. Being compared to another man, misbehaviors do happen. But beating your wife is a no-no.
Yeah. That's what George says. So now, George says, irrespective of what the woman does to you, Nana, I also want to, I stand to be corrected, but I also want to chip in to what you just said. That the women compare the men, they disrespect them, they do a lot of things, and that make the men beat them up. So these women are responsible for domestic violence. Nana, no. Please, no. I know the kind of man you are. I know you will never lift a finger at a woman. God gave men the strength. Men have ribs I cannot count. Women have only one rib. Do you know what that means? God gave men the strength and gave women the mouth. So if you don't want any running of mouth in your home, man, you are not mature to get married. Because God ain't going to add the mouth to the man. Because the man has the strength. So it's not going to add mouth to the man. One person cannot have both. Men have the strength, women have the mouth. We run our mouth. So if you are not ready for running of mouth in your home, you are not man enough. Don't get married. And if you don't get married, who cares? You don't obtain favor from God. That is what every man should understand. Irrespective of what a woman does to you, a woman will compare another man to you because you stay in bed every day and you sleep. And the woman will go and come and pay all the bills in the house. He will come and still see you sitting on the couch watching TV. She will still come and stand on the field to cook. She will do the laundry. She will take care of the kids. She will do everything and still pay the bills. And you say you are a man. When she tells you that Brakodo takes care of the family, and you call that comparison, and because of that, Nanaya, you think the woman is responsible for beatings? Somebody whose father has not beaten her 20 years back, like I said it when I began this show. How dare you beat her? The father hasn't beaten her in 20 years. And you go to marry her and you beat her. And these women do not know their worth. That without them, these men do not have favor. And without them, these men do not have help. And that is why they are pushing themselves and they are begging this man to fucking marry them. Forgive my language. We will leave here. We will end the show here. Thank everybody for coming. Florence Opoku, thank you so much. Claudia Duka, thank you. Jeffrey Dinya, thank you. Line O'Brien, thank you. George Amwa, thank you. AC Jenny, thank you. Oluman, thank you. Anthony Mensah, thank you. Louisa Mensah, thank you. Akosenya, thank you. Nana Yao, thank you. Abina Konedu, and all those I can't mention because I see you went up. Thank you so much. This is the Narada show with the Saba Hazel. Yeah, today, you know, our location is different because George and I are traveling. Yeah, he's a family friend. George has been a family friend forever. Yeah, so thank you so much for coming. Share the video as you come on. And thank you, Nanaya, for your contribution. But no matter what a woman does to you, you don't have the ability to beat her because you are not a father. You are not a father. That should not even come to your mind to raise your finger at a woman. You are, no matter what a woman does to you. Look, when I began the show, I said, I quoted the Bible and I said, men, love your wives and women should submit. The submission is the second part of that verse. It is the love of the man, which is the first part. Meaning that when a man loves a woman, automatically the submission comes in. No, it comes with it automatically. But you cannot ask a woman to submit under you once she doesn't have anything to hold on to submission. It is when a man loves a woman. The Bible, God is so wise. The wisdom of God is so unending. God says, men, love your wives. Women, submit. As long as the love is there, the submission will follow. So when there is submission, it means the man loves the wife. So when a woman submits under a man, where would this comparison and this abuse, like you're talking about, come from? For the man to say that you are comparing me to somebody, you are not appreciative, you are this, you are disrespectful, so I'm beating you. Are you the father? It means there is some homework the man has not done. And that is the reason why the woman is being disrespectful. That is the reason why the woman is comparing him to other men. That is the reason why the woman is being unappreciative. If the man follows the doctrines of God to love the wife, there will be peace in the house. Because submission and respect. Submission comes together with respect. And it comes together with appreciation.
In a quarter mile, turn right onto South Wolf Street.
So I am just responding to your Kofi GH. Thank you. Oh, Kofi, it's been a long time. I'm responding to the message. Thank you for bringing it, and thank everybody for coming on Macramo.